It's the weekend before the MPL Philippines Season 13 playoffs. We're recording live from Sweet Ecstasy in McKinley Hill, Venice, Grand Canal. And we're going to be doing Season 13 playoffs predictions. You all know my history with predictions through the years. And I'll have to admit, they have taken a nosedive after my prime in Season 9. But maybe with the help of really good food, we can fix that problem. Real quick reminder, this playoffs is going to be very, very different. We're using the Gauntlet format, wherein there is a set of teams that no longer need to do the play-ins. They are automatically in the third round of the tournament with 2 lives. And there are 2 teams that have to go through the Gauntlet, eliminating each other, eliminating another team waiting in round 2 until they get to 2 lives. And that weird, sweet spot right in the middle, that Goldilocks spot wherein it's a climb, but you still have to fight your way through to get 2 lives. We got 6 teams in the playoffs. Let me run them down by you. It's Minana Evos, Blacks International, MPL Philippines, RSG Philippines, Echo, and the defending champions, AP Bren. AP Bren is sitting in the Gauntlet slot as the final boss, while Echo and RSG will be facing off against each other in round 3 of the first double eliminations matchup. So we'll get to them in just a bit. We're starting off the predictions with the round 1 Gauntlet, the play-ins. It's Blacks International versus Minana Evos. It's Ube versus Ube. Well, you can really say Ube about one of them in Season 13. And this is going to be tough to read because Minana Evos have kept themselves protected. They hid their strats and what their actual lineup might look like post-patch. And it's been a good month, I think, since we last saw Lancy and Spider Miles in action. With that said, you saw Blacks International climb their way through, struggle through the tough times, get Haji back into that captain's role, get the team's spirit back on track. And to be honest, in hindsight, I think I have been cutting them short. I have been underappreciating the good things that they've been doing since, on record, they have the most games played, meaning they have won the most reverse sweeps or 3-game series in Season 13. And I think it's that amount of reps, it's that amount of grit and spirit that might actually get them through. So without even thinking about what the game might look like, what the mechanics might look like, I think Blacklist is just primed and ready. They are just hot and ready for the next round. So they're going to take Minana Evos down. As you know, I usually do not predict with scores. So we'll just leave it at that. Whatever it is, 3-1, 3-0, 3-2, whichever way it goes, I think Blacklist moves on. Now I'm going to take a lot of logic into consideration here, and knowing what I know about Blacklist and Onyx, truth be told, I think Onyx's performance in the past couple of weeks, that was caused by the meta, that was caused by the patch, and they were ready for it. Now, given a couple of weeks of break, I think they can figure that out. I think they can fix that. As for Blacklist, it's not that I want to put a cap on them. It's just, I think, what tricks they have, especially knowing what happened in Season 12 against Onyx versus Black. You know that went 5 games. You know that it was Onyx who pushed Blacklist to the limit. I think Onyx should be all the wiser now. So something tells me Onyx takes this, they move on to the next round. That means, according to my predictions, Blacklist is eliminated. We're down to 4 teams, and each of these 4 teams now have 2 lives. First up, the final boss round, AP Bren facing off against that Gauntlet run-through, facing off against Mpl PH. It's no secret how I feel about AP Bren, despite Onyx actually accelerating through and taking number 1 mid-season. But I think this should be clean-cut. It's hard to beat AP Bren, especially when they have prep time. AP Bren, very much like Batman. So I think AP Bren's going to take this. They're going to knock down Onyx PH into the lower bracket. Now we see Echo RSG. Echo RSG, this is a match made in heaven. This is a matchup that happens season after season, year after year, and they do not fail to satisfy. They do not fail to wow us and show us next level MLBB. This is going to be tough. And real quick teaser, they're going to face off again. I'll tell you this, they're going to face off again according to my predictions. But in round 1 of the double lives bracket, round 3 effectively of this tournament, I think Echo moves on. I think Echo will outspeed RSG. I think they will shock RSG, and then this will awaken something in RSG, and they will do the climb. They will go through the lower bracket. So now we see AP Bren and Echo in that upper bracket final. One best of 5 away from that MSC 2024 slot. All right, we're in the lower brackets. Now things are getting tough. First lower bracket matchup, Mpl Ph versus RSG. Now it's consistency versus velocity. It's the all reliable by the numbers success rate that RSG is able to come up with and put out year in, year out versus Mpl Ph's super fam. As much as I like how Mpl Ph has grown and as much as I adore their storyline, their narrative, I think it's hard to deny that RSG just have things figured out. So logic-wise, I gotta give it to RSG. That's just what's gonna happen here. RSG moving on through the lower bracket. Let's check out what's happening in the upper bracket. It's the finals. AP Bren versus Echo. The explosiveness that Echo has, sometimes it works, right? I'd say 40% of the time, 30% of the time, they're just able to beat anybody in record time, no matter the odds. But if it's AP Bren you're talking about, in a best of 5, that's gonna be tough to do. So with that said, despite the banger that they had in the season proper, playoffs-wise, I think AP Bren will lock in their MSC 2024 slot. I think that's what's going to happen. AP Bren moving on, taking down Echo in the upper bracket finals, punching their ticket to Riyadh. That means Echo is sent down into the lower bracket. All right, now we have that rematch. I told y'all there was a rematch. Echo versus RSG, part 2, season 13 playoffs. What's going to happen? I mean, we've seen it before. Echo can climb through the lower bracket. Echo does have it in them. They got that dog. They got the grit. But RSG got knocked down much earlier too. And they don't want EVM to happen all over again. You see how sometimes you got to flip the script? I'm just taking what happened in the season 12 playoffs and hopefully seeing a change in pace. Hopefully changing the narrative, changing direction. So with that said, Echo RSG part 2. The Raiders take this one. Orcas bow out. 3rd place, RSG moving through. RSG makes it to the grand finals in RSG. The Raiders, the Vikings, get one over the Orcas. Echo finish in 3rd, and RSG PH punch their ticket to Riyadh, making it to the grand finals and making it to MSC 2024. Now the big one. Now it's the Kingslayers versus the Kings of the World. This is just pure cinema. This is poetry. This is a narrative that you have to scour the years, the world for, and this is the best MLB you're ever gonna see, anywhere you look. And they're here for a best of 7, according to my predictions. AP Bren versus RSG Philippines. Grand finals, AP Bren, RSG PH. This could go the distance. I want it to go the distance. If this is where we end up in the actual reality of the season 13 playoffs, I want this to go no less than 4-2. No less than 4-2. No less than 6 games. And again, we're flipping the switch. We're changing the narrative. We want to see something different from season 12, from what went down in EVM Convention Center. And with that said, I think it's tough to dethrone AP Bren. Like, until now, I think people are still figuring out what their weakness is, and I'm not so sure if now and here is where we find the actual kryptonite. So I'm gonna call it now, AP Bren are going to be your back-to-back MPL Philippines Season 13 champions. Now if you wanna call me out on my predictions, call me out on my opinions, call me out on my biases, go ahead, hit me up in the comments and let me know what your predictions look like, all right? Again, this is all for the content, this is all for the engagements, and I want to hear what you guys think, what's going to go down. I'll see you guys at SM South Mall, May 22 to 26. Get your tickets now. It's going to be the biggest playoffs yet. Holla. But here's it. You know what I mean? Let me know. I'll see you guys.